I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
Oh, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. Get more with Geico.
You are about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
All right. We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So, the shooting that happened in Dallas at an ICE facility has been an evolving situation. And as I told you, as soon as we get any more breaking news, I'll let you know. We are now being told that 2 detainees are dead and another is in serious condition following the shooting that happened this morning at about 7 a.m. Central Time at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement field office in Dallas, where many migrants get processed or there for about 72 hours before they are then sent, I believe, to another facility or deported. The FBI is currently investigating this as an act of targeted violence, according to Special Agent in Charge Joe Rothrock. None of the individuals shot were ICE members or members of law enforcement. At least 2 detainees are among the victims, according to law enforcement officials, and CNN is reporting this. The shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. The shooter opened fire from an elevated position. I believe his name was Joshua John, J-A-H-N, 29 years old. The casings of the bullets that were found on his body had anti-ICE messages. Some just saying straight out anti-ICE. We did not get a lot of details at the last conference. The mayor did come out, the mayor of Dallas, to speak, to hold prayer. As the situation is evolving, they don't believe there's any more of a threat. They believe the person that shot himself was the main suspect. But we worry that our other, shall we say, ICE facilities going to be targeted. Are other migrants going to be targeted? And why were the migrants targeted? Was somebody fearful of what they would say, of what they would be interrogated about? This is, it's very unsettling. And these individuals are in vulnerable positions because they are being detained, so they can't necessarily protect themselves, take cover. They are, here illegally, don't know much about who possibly were detained and if they had any criminal backgrounds or not. But unfortunately, these appear to be individuals targeted. Now, we don't have shall we say, any confirmation of the true motive. All we know is that he didn't shoot at ICE agents. He shot, I believe, at the van holding the migrants, which is odd because if you're anti-ICE, why would you hurt the migrants or hurt the detainees? So that's very confusing. And then one report said, even though he was a sniper, or he held a position as a sniper, he shot indiscriminately. So we keep seeing, throughout the country, whether it's politicians or media, the rhetoric, this anti-ICE rhetoric, this calling the Trump administration fascist, the making people hate and look at, America trying to address the immigration problem Biden gave us, as fascism or Nazism or obstructive. And I really get frustrated because moves like Governor Newsom saying, no masks if you're going to be in law enforcement. He goes, what are you hiding from? Really? He's being such a smartass. He knows gosh darn well what the risks are to agents who are trying to apprehend gang members or cartel members. He knows exactly. And if you were really for humanity and for protecting the lives of humans, then wouldn't you want law enforcement to be able to protect themselves as well? Now, these are political games that are playing with people's lives. And I read to you some of the immigration policies of Canada. They're stricter than America. You lie on a form, you misrepresent, you're there illegally, you get deported. No ifs, ands, or buts. So why aren't we seeing all these protests in Canada? Well, because Canada doesn't have to do the widespread deportation because they didn't have the widespread immigration issue that we had. Trump is cleaning up Biden's mess, and we knew this would happen. Biden knew exactly. In fact, boy, did they let that border flood right before Trump took over, because that would just give Trump more work to do and give the optics of, wow, look at him. He's deporting so many. This is frightening. And it's frightening to think that our ICE agents continue to get attacked, whether it's Molotov cocktails, whether it's sandwiches, whether it's things being thrown at them, whether it's bullets. And then now it's also including, some of the migrants and the individuals that are being detained or who came over here illegally. And so we're waiting to see what could be going on. 2 detainees were killed, one in serious condition. And this, now, of course, many individuals are concerned that if they are, shall we say, in ICE custody, is there enough protection for them? This shouldn't have happened. The shooting should not have happened. And unfortunately, there's work that needs to be done that is not getting the support that is needed by local officials or politicians or the media. And lives are at stake. I don't want to see anybody get shot. I don't want to see anybody at risk who's doing their job. And you try to, come into a country illegally, and you try to climb walls or do any of what was done here in America under Biden administration with any other country, you'd be out. And people are so shocked, going, "Oh my gosh, we're deporting MS-13 agents. We're deporting people." Yes, we're going to deport gang members. We're going to deport criminals. If somebody comes here legally, what incentive do they have to come here legally if somebody illegally is able to get benefits and not have to go through the process? It's not an easy process to become a legal citizen. My family had to do it. So people wanting to be able to do it without going through the process, that's scary. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020 for a free consultation. For 16 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Battling for years and years stuck in the endless cycle of minimum payments could take decades. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Total Financial Freedom now at 800-878-6020. That's 800-878-6020. 800-878-6020.
Let's face it, guys. We're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's Aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at Aftermath.media. Again, that's Aftermath.media.
If you've been thinking about getting serious with your money, like actually serious, now's the time. The Motley Fool is offering new members 50% off their iconic stock recommendation service, Stock Advisor. This is the same service that's crushed the market with recommendations that have returned 1,057% since inception, compared to the S&P 500's 180% over that same period. This isn't guesswork. The Motley Fool has a track record of finding companies before they become household names. So if you want to invest smarter and you like saving money while doing it, go to fool.com/listen to claim your 50% off discount off a 1-year term of Stock Advisor. Again, that's fool.com/listen. Returns of 1,057% are from the Motley Fool's product Stock Advisor and measured against S&P 500 returns of 180% as of July 10th, 2025. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. All investing involves a risk of loss. Individual investment results may vary.
For tuning in, 1-877 Doc Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube, click like and subscribe. So, again, I don't watch late night TV. I don't really care about Jimmy Kimmel, but he was back on air. Multiple affiliates did not play it. But he did start to tear up and cry as he spoke about Charlie Kirk. He didn't necessarily apologize, for what he said, but he said that it was never his intention to be, for what was perceived when he was speaking about Charlie Kirk and MAGA. And he also said something very nice about Erica Kirk, talking about how she forgave him. We wonder if, he had said that because he was hoping that he could be forgiven as well. And it's, I'm just, what I did last night? I watched the newer Superman movie that came out. The newest Superman movie came out because it was on HBO Max. It was horrible. I mean, they had this dog, the super dog named Krypton, which you could see was all CGI. And yeah, there were a couple funny bits, but I'm watching it and I'm like, these writers are we really out of creative talent? Where's all the good writers? There's a couple good shows out there still. Where you're like, okay, that's a good storyline, but I got to tell you, I was a big fan of Superman. The Superman 2 in 1980 was probably my favorite of the Superman movies. The first one was good, but I really, really like Superman 2. Superman 3, I remember stunk. And then Henry Cavill, he did a good Superman in modern times, I call it. He did a good job. But the movies were never to me like, what Superman was, because Superman was so special, so unique. Now, with all the Marvel and DC movies out there. You have the Iron Man and the Captain America, and you got Venom, and you got, there's just so many that Superman doesn't seem to be as cool as it was. But I remember watching it as a kid going, wow, this is cool. And so I'm watching this movie with ridiculous banter. I mean, the script was horrible. The story was stupid. And this movie's supposed to be a hit? And you got this CGI dog running around the place. And the villains, maybe the Lex Luthor did an okay job, but I thought the guy that played Superman did an okay job, but just the crap we're watching. And the only reason why I had it on is I was working, and I'm like, well, I can have it on in the background because I just don't like to work, where the complete silence. I like to have TV or something in the background, and I was sick of watching the news. But this is the problem. These hosts, like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, they run out of talented writers. They run out of content and to be funny. So they have never-ending, content as it pertains to politics. So they're like, well, Trump comes on, he says this, well, now we can make a joke about this. And then political satire ends up just becoming, well, we're just going to stand up and say what we feel. And, talk about MAGA, talk about Charlie Kirk, whatever. And you're like, where's the entertainment? Why isn't this funny? Why? And I think it's laziness. And I think it's, people think, well, look, I have a microphone, so I want to make sure that the cancel police don't come after me. So I have now in the books, I don't like X, Y, and Z. The person's, did their anti-Trump rant, and they feel that, okay, now they'll be safe in terms of their career. And when these stations are like, look, we don't have viewers, we're losing advertisers, what you're saying isn't funny. And they probably, most of these late night shows are going to probably get canceled. Look at how The Daily Show had to bring out Jon Stewart. The Daily Show really fell after Jon Stewart left. They had to bring him back because they were desperate. And even Jon Stewart got political, more political than it was. It used to be just political satire. Now it started to be more really direct. And I'm noticing the quality of medicine also just dropping. You want an antibiotic? You want weight loss drugs? You want Viagra? Call in online. We'll treat you. We'll help you online. You'll talk to a doctor online. Okay, if you need Viagra, is anybody checking your heart? Because if you're having blood flow issues to the penis, you could be having blood flow issues to the heart. If you're having vascular issues to one of the most major appendages of your body, somebody better check the vascular issues of your other major organs. Is anybody checking your testosterone? Is anybody monitoring you? Are they evaluating you for psychological erectile dysfunction versus biological or circulatory erectile dysfunction? But nowadays, don't worry, it's all half-assed. No, we got you online, no big deal. And I keep seeing this. It's when is somebody going to do their job? And when I do see a TV show or when I see somebody really do I'm like, okay, they put their work into it. You could tell they did their research. You could tell they have work ethic. They did a good job. And I'm tired of jokes not being funny. Is it Brett Goldstein, the one from Ted Lasso? I'm a fan of his. I think on Ted Lasso he did a great job. But on my plane flight back, I watched his stand-up routine. His stand-up routine was And it started out good, but then he immediately got political, trying to check the box off, going, we need to tax the rich, men are sick, Me Too, this. I mean, he immediately went to almost like, look, I know you guys are testing me out, so I have a career. Let me show you that I'm on, your side. And I noticed that the laughs weren't all there. People don't want to see you check the box and cover your political butt. They want to see you do the right thing. Same thing with medicine. They don't want a doctor saying, look, I'm going to get sued because you're having a headache and a tumor, so I'm going to order a CAT scan, I'm going to order an MRI, I'm going to send you to a neurologist because I just can't get sued. Well, why am I going to you? I could go to anybody. I'm having headaches. Can you get to the root of why I could be having these headaches? Well, are you grinding your teeth at night? Is it your glasses? Is it your screen time? Are the headaches coming, stemming from your neck? People don't want a cover your ass comedian, doctor, or anybody else. They want to know that somebody is going to do what they're supposed to do. Look at how somebody died. An actor died at a restaurant in Las Vegas at Aria, and the attorney is claiming nobody jumped in to do CPR. And the restaurant's getting sued. Well, if the restaurant doesn't have staff that knows how to do CPR, they're supposed to call 911 and get somebody there. And if they did, they might be, shall we say, protected from some liability. But, for me, luckily I'm trained. But, and you don't want untrained people doing the wrong thing. But everybody is so afraid of liability. In fact, somebody, I guess, was trying to do CPR, and the manager asked them to move and move away from the patient. Now, I don't know if it's because the paramedics were coming, or if it's because they thought the person was performing it incorrectly. But with liability, nobody knows what the hell to do. And so they go to the path of least resistance, or the path where they could be sued the least or in trouble the least. And here's Jimmy Kimmel, in light of an assassination of somebody because of his political beliefs, trying to make content out of it and completely screwing up and showing how ridiculous his show is and how what lack of talent he has between him and his writers. So my recommendation to everybody is just do your job. If your job is comedy, do comedy. If your job is medicine, do medicine. If your job is politics, well, then do politics. But don't be trying to please everybody. Don't be trying to check the box. Because we're really seeing a lack of work ethic and a lack of talent. 1-877 Doc Daliah, don't go away.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
In many states, the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts. Due to a cleaner burn, there are less hydrocarbons and particulate matter in your exhaust. This reduces the blockage of your diesel particulate filter. Using Diesel Extreme generates 83% less DPF regenerations. The 6-in-1 Diesel Extreme formula also includes the most concentrated detergent on the market, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So many of you are considering getting a flu shot. I've been a fan of the flu shot. It's frustrating that at its highest efficacy, it's about 60% effective. In a good year, it's about 60% effective. In a bad year, we've seen 15%, 20% effectiveness, which doesn't mean it's useless. It's what that means is its ability to prevent serious flu is still there. That it still saves millions of lives, but it's not going to be 100%. Like, you get the shot, you are definitely not getting flu. And the reason why is for us to come up with our flu shot and have it ready by end of August, early September, we have to figure out what is going to be in the flu shot by February, the season before. So around Super Bowl time, we had to figure out what you needed for this year's flu. And that's before flu season of the Southern Hemisphere. Everybody always says, well, what we do is we go by the Southern Hemisphere, we see what happens in Australia, and then we take Australians' flu virus and we decide to work with that one. There's no time. Australians' flu season starts in May and ends in November. So their flu season is now. They're peaking now. So we don't have time to now figure out that strain, manufacture it, distribute it, get it to the pharmacies, because we already have to have the flu shot out and ready to go. So the most common shot is the inactivated vaccine. And the inactivated form is where they take the virus and they basically kill it. And it's the skeleton, sort of speaking, the outside, the outer body of it, excuse me, that gets injected into you. So it's not active flu. And what's nice about that is it's been tried and trued, and it will hopefully mount an immune response that won't make you sick, that won't give you flu, because it teaches you what the outer core looks like. And they pick the most common strains, that they believe would be, whether it's a Victoria A or Austria B or Phuket B or Darwin A, or, they pick the lineages, H1N1, H3N2, influenza B, influenza A, and then hopefully your body knows how to recognize it, so when flu comes, you won't get as severe a case. Flu is serious. People can die from the flu. Even if they don't die necessarily from the flu virus, you could get pneumonia. That's just the number one cause of flu-related deaths. It could also exacerbate your asthma, seizures, preterm birth, cause miscarriages, heart attacks, stroke. So we don't mess around when it comes to the flu. Flu-related deaths are scary. The Fluzone high dose, we do have higher dose or adjuvants for those who are over 65 that may need something a little stronger. Some individuals also might need to get a booster in January. The other flu shot is the nasal spray. The nasal spray is a live attenuated form where they take the flu, they weaken it down. And so it's a live form of the virus, but it's so weak that it's not supposed to make you sick. We can't give that to everybody. For the flu shot, we give it to everybody over 6 months old. But with the the inactivated form, but the live attenuated nasal spray, those are for those between 2 years old and 49 years old. We do not give them to pregnant patients. We do not give them to those who are immunocompromised or who are older. So some people ask, why then would I get the nasal spray? Well, the nasal spray I thought was fascinating because, to me, the flu is a respiratory virus. And I love the idea of priming where the virus is going to come in. Most flu viruses come in respiratorily. So I kind of like the idea when this came out decades ago where you could spray it and then you can prime your respiratory passages. And it had some amazing efficacy. Then the efficacy went down. Then they stopped using it for a while, and then they brought it back. Many people are concerned that if they get the flu shot, they're going to get the flu. And as I said, with the live attenuated, there is a lower risk of that. But with an inactivated vaccine, no. But I've had many patients that tell me, but they get sick. They get the flu shot, and then they get the flu. So how does that happen if they're getting the inactivated form and we're not giving them flu? Well, a few things could be happening. One is, you got the flu shot during flu season. You were exposed. And so, the shot didn't have the 2-week time to, build up your immunity. So you got the flu and there was no time for the shot to work. Another possibility is the shot, wasn't effective for you. If at a good year it's 60% effective, some individuals can still get the flu. And, in terms of you feeling like, well, I got the shot and then the next day I got flu. Well, with those individuals, I want to test them. Because if you, this is an interesting phenomenon. Some shots will make you feel sick and will make you feel flu-like. You might get malaise, body aches, fever, just feel ucky. And with that, then that's your immune response. And listen, when I got the COVID booster, I felt horrible. I had chest pain and arm swelling and breast swelling for a month. So that's flu related. That's I'm sorry, not flu related. Those are vaccine related reactions. But if somebody tells me I got the flu shot yesterday and now I have flu, I go, well, let's test you. If you're positive for flu, then that wasn't the vaccine, because one is you're usually exposed to something days before you have symptoms. And now if you're flu positive, you just got the flu because it's circulated, it's around. But when patients tell me, look, Daliah, I can't get the flu shot, it makes you feel sick. I believe you. And I'm not going to force it. Doesn't make sense. I am going to, though, recommend that you protect yourself. Talk to your medical provider about other options. Make sure that you are able to, if you do start to get flu-like symptoms, be able to get tested so that you could get on an antiviral for the flu. Make sure you're well rested, fluids, balanced diet. I don't tell people to pop vitamin C tablets, but I do recommend you'll recommend balanced diet so that you can help your immune system. The big mistake we all make is we feel sick, we have a fever, and then we decide to drink orange juice. And why weren't you, boning up on your vitamins before? The antivirals are nice in terms of limiting some of the effects, but you notice you have to take those antivirals within 48 to 72 hours of your symptoms. Why? Well, because once the virus takes over, it's not going to interfere with the replication or the attachment. So how viruses work, so a bacteria gets in your system and then it divides, and then it divides, and then it divides, and its numbers multiply. With a virus, it's more exponential, where the virus takes over a cell, makes that cell make new viruses, then it pops, and then all the new baby viruses go to new cells. And so it takes a time for a virus to make the viral load to the degree that then your body detects it's there. But then when your body detects it, you feel like you got hit by a truck, which is why people who get the flu go, man, I could give you the time of day I felt sick. But by then, the virus has already taken hold. So we got to work quickly to give you your antiviral. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did. And just maybe, someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
For tuning in, 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I thought one of the benefits of President Trump winning is we wouldn't have to see Kamala Harris much more, but apparently we're seeing a lot of her. Why? Well, because she is testing the waters for a 2028 bid and making money on her new book, The 107 Days. 107 Days, highlighting that's all the number of days she had to run for office. And so, there's a lot of frustration as it pertains to the Kamala Harris campaign, and from Democrats, because many think, well, she should have run sooner. They let Biden go longer than they needed to. Others say, well, they should have never had her. Others say, well, she picked the wrong vice president to run with her, and women are frustrated because, this was the best he could come up with to represent us. We're never going to become president if these are the women you're choosing. We women can be amazing candidates. It's just Kamala Harris can never answer a question fully. That Sunny Hostin question, what would you do differently? From your predecessor, if you were president, she's like, nothing comes to mind. You don't really have an answer for that. And I get not wanting to throw your boss under the bus, but I've told you how she could have answered that. Be prepared for what are you going to do differently. Is the Kamala Harris presidency going to be a continuation of a failed Biden presidency? What is going to be your answer to that? And it's very simple. Without throwing Biden under the bus, you could say, look, if I win, I'm going to be entering the office in 2025. All right, 2025 is going to be a much different scenario than 2020. And so my goals are going to be X, Y, and Z. Of course, there's going to be differences because I'm going to have different challenges than my predecessor had. Period. It's a BS answer, but at least it's better than, I can't think of anything. Well, then, voters' jaws dropped going, yeah, we want this? So, of course, if I was Kamala Harris and I lost the election, I would blame the fact that I only had 107 days. And so when she was asked, why she didn't win, she says the biggest, I think probably one of the biggest in my mind is we just didn't have enough time. This was when she was asked by co-host Anna Navarro on The View. She said there are many factors I think that played into the outcome of that election, but she needed more time. I disagree because she was getting less popular the more we knew her. There was a surge her first week once Biden dropped out, which Biden should have never run. He should have never been president. We predicted he was having medical issues and cognitive issues from day one, actually, while he was vice president with Obama. So it was predictable, but there was a boost that first week. And there was like, okay, well, she's newer, she's younger. We didn't really get to see her. She was sidelined. Maybe there is something to her. But I didn't have high expectations because she was one of the first people out of the Democratic primary because people didn't like her then either. So, Biden picks an unpopular vice president. He picks, he makes her board czar and she doesn't do jack diddly squat. And I understand it's really hard to overshadow. If you really wanted to be border czar, if I was border czar, I'd go there that day, ask Border Patrol, Customs, everybody, ICE, what do they need? Head back later that day to the president, all in one day, and say, this is what they need. We need to complete this list ASAP. The president would tell me off. So I get how limited you are as vice president, but still. But she says, she goes, Biden decides not to run. The sitting vice president that takes a mantle, running against a former president of the United States who has been running for 10 years with 107 days until the election. She said this unprecedented nature caused her campaign to fail. She spent $1.5 billion during their 15-week run, lost popular vote, lost the Electoral College, lost 7 swing states, $1.5 billion. You know what that could have done for the homeless, for the underserved? Gosh, that was a lot of money. They had Beyonce. I think they had Jennifer Lopez. I mean, they really threw money at this. What they needed was policy. And co-host Sunny Hostin of The View, has kind of spoken out. I think she's loved the fame because that clip was even played by Donald Trump. But she said that she felt responsible, for Kamala Harris's loss by asking that question. Don't regret asking that question. Everybody wanted to know. Okay, you're running for president. Biden dropped out. What are you going to do differently? That's a very common question that should have been asked. J.D. Vance is going to be asked that same question. At the 2028 campaign, if he is going to be the nominee, I think Marco Rubio would also be good, DeSantis, but it's most likely it's going to be J.D. Vance. So J.D. Vance is going to be asked, what would you do differently than what Trump did? Now, the difference between J.D. Vance getting that question of Kamala Harris is Trump. He's had a lot of popular policies. So if Trump secured the border, if Trump helped stop wars, if Trump advocated to get the hostages out, if Trump, strengthened the economy, if Trump got money in because of tariffs and because he stopped having other countries screw over America as it pertained to tariffs, now, J.D. Vance better be already preparing what his answer is going to be in terms of that. Whereas Kamala, it was easy for her to answer without throwing Biden under the bus. What are you going to do different? Well, as you know, Sonny, I am a huge advocate of children's health care and cancer research. So what I'm going to do, while Biden had priorities of the COVID vaccine and all that, I will be able to benefit now that the dust has settled with COVID to now concentrate a lot of our resources on X, Y, and Z. I mean, there's so much she could have said. But it is going to be interesting what J.D. Vance says. What would you do differently in the Trump presidency? So he's going to probably say, I'm going to continue the strong work on the border. I'm going to continue this. I'm going to continue this. But then what he needs to do is look at what was kind of unpopular. And one thing that was unpopular was the massive firing. In fact, it looks like the Trump administration is rehiring some of the people that got fired under Doge. And let's say JD Vance, I mean, we do need to save money. We do need, to make sure that whoever is working for the government isn't sitting there playing solitaire on the computer or taking selfies. So it is necessary to, make sure that we avoid waste, fraud, and abuse. But what he could say is, when Doge sunsetted July 4th, which was the intentions of Doge, I really liked the work that Doge did. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Doge back. I am going to make a permanent office looking at waste, fraud, and abuse. I am going to incentivize government workers to, if they are under budget, that will, come in terms of bonuses. I mean, there's things he could do where it doesn't necessarily insult his current boss. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Can you believe, with all the recent violent protests, looting, and destruction, some areas are considering either defunding or abolishing the police? At a time when America's neighborhoods need the protection of police the most, some elected officials would rather create more chaos by playing politics. If you're sick of elected officials caving in to demands of the radical left, you're not alone. It's time we stand up and declare our support for local police. The majority of police officers are important partners in protecting our God-given rights. If you prefer freedom over chaos, then learn how you can help protect the local police that serve your community. Call today and request your free Support Your Local Police info packet. Dial 800-JBS-USA-1. That's 800-JBS-USA-1. Request your free Support Your Local Police info packet by calling 800-JBS-USA-1 today.